Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins along Okita Souji's route. I'm not really sure what to say about where we are at the moment, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. In the last episode, we did that Zuisoroku scene where we cooked him, fed him porridge, so that's all I can really give you as far as where we're at now. And then we did some skipping and now we're here, and we have to decide to stay home. And of course we're going to check on Okita. Of course! Okita was still resting, and no one had said so. What if the Furies attacked him now? That thought shook me to my core. And I took off for his room. I'm going to defend him. Don't worry, Okita. I'll protect you if any demons come. Okita! By the time I reached his room, Okita was already preparing for battle. His swords were strapped to his waist, and as I stepped in, he slipped me a grin.
You took too long. Nobody came to get me, so I figured I'd go out on my own.
Are you feeling better?
Of course. I wasn't real happy about being told to stay here, but it looks like I'll get to have some fun after all.
Oh, not now. I was such a fool. For just a moment, I'd forgotten just how serious Okita's illness was. Please, don't do this. The rest of the Shinsengumi has the situation under control. Please, go back to bed. He glared at me with a sharp gaze.
Are you serious? You really think Gen and Yamazaki stand a chance against that demon who put me through the ringer back at Ikeda?
Well...
If Gen is murdered by that demon, do you know how much that would mess Kondo up?
But still...
I'm fine. This is nothing. I can still fight. I'm not useless, you know.
It's not nice to brush aside someone who's worried about you. I spun around and my eyes went wide. Kaoru? This was, no doubt, the person I'd met that day in the city, but her once tied-up hair was now cut and hung just above her shoulders. The beautiful kimono she wore when we first met was long gone, replaced by a black jacket and pants that signaled her being ready for battle. In fact, she looked like... This is my true self. I apologize for lying about my sex, but I had a good reason to.
So, you're a guy, huh? Interesting.
Either Okita didn't much care, or he'd already known. In any event, he seemed unsurprised. I didn't have the same luxury. What? What do you mean? He gave me an oddly unsettling smile. I kept my true self hidden for one reason, the same reason I've come here tonight. I'm here to save my sister. Sister? I'm talking about you, Chizuru. What? True, we looked alike, but... Sister? No way! I realize this is rather confusing to you, but let me explain. When our family refused to help overthrow the shogunate and was destroyed, you were taken in by Kodo, and I was taken in by the Nagumo family from the Tosa domain. We were separated. Our family? Did he say Kodo, not father? Maybe Kodo insisted on telling you after you grew up a little more. You are not related to Kodo by blood. Our parents died when our hometown, the Yukimura village, was destroyed. Each word out of Kaoru's mouth hit me like a fist. Our real parents were long dead, and the man I thought to be my father was not even related to me. What other truths were really lies? Kaoru gestured at his face, so uncannily similar to my own. I share your face, and yet you still won't believe me. Perhaps my sword will convince you then. Oh my goodness! My Daitsuren is the companion to your own Shotsuren. They were separated along with us. No, my father never said... I'm sure Kodo intended on telling you eventually. Along with the painful past of humanity's tyranny. As much as my mind was telling me none of this was true, I realized what he just revealed to me matched up with what Sen had told me before.
So, you're a demon too.
If we were born to the same house, like Kaoru claimed, then he would be a demon. Yes, I am. You seem awfully calm, Okita.
Should I be excited? None of this is really my problem. Can I ask you something, though? Seeing as you're a demon, do you just plan to use her like Kazuma does?
Oh, that would be gross. He's my brother. What? I looked back and forth from Okita to Kaoru, not sure what to do. Kaoru simply smiled as the room's tension snapped taut. No, that's not my intent. Can I ask you a question in return? What would you have done if I'd said yes? Would you have tried to stop me with that broken body? The room was silent. When Okita spoke,
No, you're free to take her. I don't care what either of you are up to.
Hey! His words were what I'd expected and feared.
I see.
I'd known just how little Okita thought of me, but to hear him say it, there was a part of me, a small part, that had hoped for a different answer.
Well, will you get out of my way?
No, I will not. You cannot fight anyone right now.
Like hell I can't.
You're awfully determined, aren't you? Very well, here. The bottle Kaoru held out shone in the moonlight. The thick red liquid inside it licked at the insides. I recognized that liquid all too well. Very painful memories were suddenly resurrected. Where did you get that, Kaoru? Kodo gave it to me. My father gave you that?
It
is true that I'm a demon. I have been told to cooperate with Kazuma and his men because of the relationship between the Satsuma, Choshu, and Tosa. Kaoru's gaze drifted down toward the floor. But if their plan is to simply use my dear sister as some sort of demonic broodmare, I can't allow that to happen.
So, you want me to drink the water of life and protect her, is that it? Seems pretty selfish.
I'm sorry if it seems that way, but the choice is yours. You can lie in bed cursing your illness and crying for battle, or you can drink this and become a fury. So does the captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division really desire to lie in bed and die as he coughs up blood? No, Okita, you can't! Okita had seen the suffering of the Furies countless times. They were almost pitiable creatures who couldn't bear the sun's light, going mad at the scent of blood. If he became one of them, If he became a Fury, Okita, wouldn't that break Kondo's heart?
Kondo?
The two words that can put sense into him. You have a lot of respect for Kondo, right, Okita? Please, don't do anything that would hurt Kondo, so... Okita, please! Okita bit his lip. However, Kaoru didn't stop. Ever since you started suffering from tuberculosis, I wondered how many times the chief of the Shinsengumi thought to himself, if only Souji were here. I'm sure even today, if you weren't sick, he would have ordered you to be there. Please, Kaoru, don't do this! If you're really my brother, and you really care for me, then why are you doing this to Okita? Just as I screamed that... Oh boy. Oh, Okita can handle these guys without taking that. Before he could answer, 4 human shapes leapt through the door.
Furies!
He reached for a sword the moment he saw their red eyes, but his body no longer obeyed him as it once had. His hands fumbled on the hilt, and the sword clattered to the floor.
This is all I am now. Souji Okita, captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division.
What was Okita thinking? Was he sad at how powerless he felt? Angry? In the darkness, I could only barely see his face, and his emotions were hidden from me. Then suddenly he moved, snatching the bottle from Kaoru's hand. Stop, Okita! Yeah, like I'd have a chance at stopping the Furies. Okita, no! If you drank that... He glared at the Furies, perhaps taking in the monster he was about to become. He then looked over at me, and on his face was the faint sideways smile I'd seen so many times before.
Man, you really never shut up, do you?
He threw back his head, and I watched the red liquid drain from the bottle. Kaoru smiled. More furies, hungry for blood, ran into the room. I froze, terrified. Blood fell like rain, blood drawn by a white-haired monster who had left his humanity behind. This was Okita the Fury, Okita the Beast. In exchange for the strength to lift his sword once again, he had traded away his soul. His snow-white hair fluttered like a blizzard as he swung his swords at the Furies. The carnage only lasted seconds, though it seemed longer. All that remained of the Furies were bleeding corpses. Fresh blood dripped from his pure white hair, the proof of the curse.
Happy now, Kaoru Nagumo?
Yes, I am. You were splendid, Souji Okita. There are no words to express my gratitude. He clapped once, and then a cruel smile split his face. For falling into my trap.
Gah.
Even with the water of life, the battle had weakened him. I caught Okita just before he hit the floor. Okita, are you okay? Why did... His hair was back to its normal color. It hid only temporarily his true nature, but having even a piece of the old Okita back was a relief. Was I a fool for feeling that way? Chizuru, you ask why I, your brother, would offer the water of life to your dear Okita. What? I didn't understand. What was he saying? Kaoru smiled again. You don't get it, do you? I gave him the water of life precisely because you care for him. What? I glared furiously at this boy who claimed to be my brother. What's so funny? He only smiled wider. Oh, I'm not smiling because it's funny. I'm just happy. I'm happy I got to make my sister suffer. Unlike me, my sister was loved by everyone. I'm happy to see you suffer. His voice had changed. There was a manic edge to it now, and the more he talked, the more his grotesque grin twisted his face. In his eyes, I saw more madness than in those of a fury. The Nagumo family had hoped for a female demon who could bear them children. They were disappointed to discover they ended up with the male twin. I suppose I can't blame them for what they did. I simply wasn't equipped to produce children. No matter what they did to me, I was worthless. What did they do to him? How many times was he told how worthless he was? When he spoke, the word had the sound of one he'd heard so many times that it was simply part of him. Actually, I know that feeling. Of course, anyone who told me that has long since been, dispatched. I wasn't such a fool that I couldn't guess what that meant. To speak of murder so easily. I have the same blood and the same face as my sister. But because I had the wrong equipment, I was treated like trash. Less than trash. And whose fault do you think that is? I looked at that hideous smile twisting the flesh of his face, my face, and shivered. There's a chance that I could look like that. I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't help but touch my face to make sure. Does it bother you to see this face smile like this? I know how you feel, sister. Whenever I saw you happy, it made me so angry. With that last word, he lunged for my neck, hands outstretched. Gah! Fingers like iron closed around my throat. I'd like to see that face again. The one you made when Okita the human died, and Okita the monster was born. Sadly, I don't think that's possible, but oh, it was delectable. Far better than I'd imagined. I'm glad I chose someone you really cared for. You... Did he trick Okita just to see me suffer? You... Oh, does it hurt? Are you frightened of me? But this is only the beginning, dear sister. He let go of my neck. I fell to the floor, my chest burning. Raw hacking coughs tore their way out of my throat. As Kaoru faded into the shadows, I saw a last gentle smile, and then his laughter filled the night. Chizuru Yukimura, your brother will always be dreaming of your misery. Tears began to pour from my eyes. There was a man, my brother, who hated me so passionately that he would destroy another man for no other reason than to hurt me. Oh, Okita! My hands tightened around him. Okita didn't care about me one way or the other, but because I cared for him. He'd been thrown into hell. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And we only skipped like 2 sentences. The Fury Corps was called into our aid at the last second, and then Okita too was brought down the path of becoming a Fury. So, not only was Sanan a Fury, but now Heisuke and Okita were as well. It was nighttime. As I passed the entrance, I saw Okita. He sat alone, gazing up at the sky. What was he thinking, I wondered? I thought about calling out to him, but hesitated.
What are you doing, Chizuru? Just get over here already.
Okay. I walked over and sat down quietly next to him. In the light of the stars, his face looked pale. Whether it was a trick of the light or the pallor of his skin, I couldn't tell. How are you feeling?
You mean my sickness, or about being a fairy now? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. It's been a little rough during the day, but my body seems to be healing up pretty good. They told me if I get some rest, I shouldn't have any problem swinging around a sword like I used to.
Something in his voice suggested he was trying to convince himself as much as he was trying to convince me. Why don't we go back inside? It's winter now, though. Sitting outside at night stargazing can't be good for your health.
Oh, I can handle this easy. It's not that cold. Being in bed all the time is depressing. Seems worse for my body, too.
Well, that might be true, but Kyoto winters aren't anything to scoff at.
Yeah, I know. I remember everyone complaining when we first moved out here. Still, the cold's not something I ever minded.
I suppose it's kind of bracing.
Yeah.
It's been getting colder, though. I think it might snow.
Yeah.
I opened my mouth, then shut it again. I'd run out of things to say. Okita was quiet as well. His eyes were trained to the sky, and he was perfectly still, like a statue carved from ice.
Hey.
Yes?
I chose this myself. Pretty stupid of you to blame yourself.
Huh? What do you mean? Momentarily distracted by his grin, I didn't immediately catch what he meant.
You blame yourself, right? For me drinking the serum.
No.
Oh, don't give me that. You can't lie to a baby, so stop trying to pull one over on me. You don't need to worry about it, okay? This was my decision, and I don't regret it.
I felt like I should speak, but I didn't know what to say. We sat there in silence for a few more minutes, and then he turned to me again.
You shouldn't get involved with a guy like me.
Too late. That came out of nowhere. My mind went blank. I didn't know how to respond. Was he joking as always? I looked back at him, but I couldn't read the truth from his expression. I said, No. No, I refuse to listen to you. No. I returned his gaze, forcing myself to look just as solemn as he did.
Sorry, what did you just say?
I said no.
Huh, man.
Wait, he has tears in his eyes. Why does he have tears in his eyes for this?
What kind of woman are you? Won't even cut an invalid any slack.
Oh, don't pull this pity thing on me. Hey, you can't just act like you're sick when you want something. That's not fair.
Yeah. I really am sick, though. Well, I'm not just sick, I'm dead. Nothing alive in here anymore.
His words cut into my heart just as deeply as any sword. No, don't say that. How can you be dead? You're here with me, talking and moving around. A corpse can't do that.
True, but whatever's doing this talking and moving, It's not human.
Then why is it saying all the things that Okita used to? No, that's not true.
I don't know what you see, but I drank that stuff. I felt it. I know what I am now. I stopped coughing, too. I guess it heals more than wounds, huh? It's not like there isn't a price to pay, though. Trying to do anything during the day is, well, it's rough. I drank the serum thinking it'd help my condition, and I'd hoped that I could be useful to Kondo again, you know? But if I can't even walk around during the daytime, or go on rounds, or kill any bastards for Kondo, what good am I to anyone? I'm just useless.
Until this point, I'd never seen Okita open up so much, let alone show any sign of vulnerability to me. Was it really so important for him to be in Kondo's service? I guess I understood where he's coming from, but I don't think Kondo wants you around just because he wants you to do things for him. Okita shot me a bitter glance that was something usually reserved for his enemies.
Would you mind not trying to speak for Kondo?
Look, I may not have been around as long as you guys, but I know him well, too.
You've only known us for 4 years. What do you know?
Quite a bit, actually. I had a feeling he was going to say that. Yes, it's true that I've only spent time with everyone here for only 4 years. But then again, it's not like you're capable of knowing exactly how Kondo truly feels.
So, you think you are, then?
I can't say I know for certain, but I have good intuition. But in the least, the Kondo I know, if you're alive, or even if you were dead, or something else, I'm sure he would think you are who you are, Okita. He would say that, more than anything, he's happy to see you alive and healthy. Okita seemed taken aback to hear me suggest such a thing. But eventually...
Do you really think he thinks that? Do you think Kondo would still need me? Even if I can't hold a sword anymore?
Yes, of course. I feel that way about you, and I've only been here for 4 years. For someone like Kondo who'd known you even longer than that, I'm sure he'd feel even more strongly about it than that. What do you think the Kondo in your heart would think, Okita? Okita looked up again at the sky, as if reflecting upon every moment through the years of their relationship.
You're right. He is a good man. I'm sure even if I wasn't able to fight anymore, he wouldn't turn his back on me.
His expression seemed to brighten, even if just a little, and it relieved me to see him cheer up, no matter how small a change it was. You have to take care of Kondo. I'm sure Kondo understands that you made that choice because you had to. But still, knowing that you drank the water of life, it must still sadden him. Oh, don't bring that up now.
Yeah, I know.
This conversation with Okita made me realize I was never human. But if I were to pretend that I was, and I made my decisions in my life to reflect this, would there still be people who'd accept me for who I am?
What's the matter, Chizuru?
No, it's nothing.
It doesn't look like nothing. Why don't you tell me? I kinda suck at cheering people up, but at least I can lend you an ear.
Okita was being as curt as he always was, but it felt like the first time he showed me that he really cared for me. Maybe, just maybe, it was his way of paying me back for earlier. Keeping this in mind, I decided that this was a good opportunity to tell him what was going through my mind. I'm just jealous of you, Okita, that you have someone like Kondo by your side. In that moment, I recalled Kaoru's hateful eyes, the intensity of his grudge held against me. It turned out that I'm not a normal human, and knowing my brother by blood felt as he did. As the bitter memories rushed back, I felt a wave of melancholy and unconsciously bit my lips.
Oh yeah, huh? I totally forgot. I hadn't even thought about the fact that you weren't human, or that you were a demon, really.
As he said that, I felt the tension in my heart ever so slightly. Okita didn't seem to care that I wasn't human. Eventually, his eyes squinted as they darted up to watch the clouds form above before he spoke.
Besides, you mentioned your brother or whatever, but at the end of the day, family is just a bunch of strangers that happen to be related to you by blood. Well, they aren't people that you choose. They just happen to be there when you were born, you know? I don't think there's anything for you to worry about.
What? I didn't expect those words, and I was speechless. Family is just a bunch of strangers that happen to be related to you by blood. They aren't people I chose, so don't worry. I'd never heard it explained like that. Such words of comfort were rare from him, and the confusion with which I'd been burdened over the last few days began to feel much lighter. Who expected such words of wisdom from him? Thank you. Warmth was welling up from the bottom of my heart. If any other person had said these words to me, I don't think I would feel the same way I do now. Hey, Okita, do you think we could be close enough to talk again like this someday?
Man, what am I going to do with you? You're a real weirdo, you know that? Alright then, do what you want. I don't mind talking to you either.
Yes, I think I will. Somehow, my chin had acquired something of an arrogant tilt under the cold winter sky. Echoing Okita's habits over there? Mirroring him? This time I'll stay here. And now we have reached Chapter 5, December 1867. Beginning on Okita's official route. With the shogunate abolished, Yoshinobu Tokugawa left for Osaka. The old shogunate military followed, gathering most of their strength in Osaka. Even so, it was unclear how things would turn out. To predict the fate of the country required more information and insight than we possessed. What we did know, however, was that the Satsuma had grown more and more violent and needed to be stopped. Believing they were acting for the good of the country, the Shinsengumi set about trying to take back the imperial court from the Satsuma and the Choshu and put Lord Shinobu back in power. January 16th. The Shinsengumi, along with men from several other domains, were assigned to guard the Fushimi Magistrate's office. Most of the night patrols were done by the Fury Corps, which included Sanin, Heisuke, and Okita.
Hey, don't worry so much, Chizuru.
Huh? I wasn't worrying.
You're lying. You want to look at yourself in the mirror? You're pale.
Really? I was trying my best to keep it from showing on my face, but I guess Heisuke saw right through me.
Hey, they don't have very many men. We'll be fine.
The shogunate commands overwhelming manpower. The Satsuma and Choshu will recognize that soon enough. His voice sounded confident, but his face looked pale.
All true, but all their men have Western weapons and Western tactics. That could be trouble.
We needn't worry about that either. How dangerous could foreign weapons be? All famous last words. Besides, the shogunate army commands furies. He turned and walked away, back into the building.
Didn't the water of life come from the west in the first place?
Good point. Seeing Sanin act that way always made me nervous. I had begun to worry that the bloodlust was driving him mad.
I'm gonna go check on Sanin. I don't like letting him out of my sight.
Wise boy you are. Yeah. I nodded, and Heisuke jogged off after Sanin. I grew worried and turned to look at Okita. Okita, are you alright? Does it hurt anywhere? Do you feel sick?
Or do I want blood?
He'd seen right through my plot so easily. It didn't seem to matter to him, though, as he continued as if nothing had happened.
No, I haven't felt any of that. At least not yet.
I see. That was reassuring to hear, although both of us felt the weight of that yet.
I can't speak for Sanin, but Heisuke's been alright so far, too.
I fell silent, unsure of what he meant. Was he trying to reassure me? Or was he trying to remind me that they were only doing fine thus far?
What's wrong? You still blaming yourself?
I'll always blame myself. He sighed in disbelief.
Yeah, it's true things got a little complicated. But I was the one who decided to drink the water of life. Me. I chose my path. What happened isn't your fault. And I didn't do it for you.
Yeah, truth be told. Right. His tone brooked no dissent. I could only nod. Nonetheless, the heaviness in my heart refused to lift. It looks like you're getting better at least. I do have my reservations when it comes to that serum, but even so, I'm glad you're getting better. Okita?
Nothing. Actually, I feel great. I'm better than ever, in fact.
Right, your complexion looks way better. The cough that had grown progressively worse for the last several months was completely gone. I was definitely glad he was better.
I'm pretty happy my tuberculosis is gone, but... Well, I've been meaning to ask you, though. Why are you going on night rounds with us?
It was because I was worried about Okita. But I could hardly tell him that. I fell silent.
We're fighting the Satsuma this time, you know.
Yes.
Well, those demons who were after you are out there. And they aren't just screwing around. They're serious business.
I know that. But I can't just sit around.
I didn't tell you to sit around. I'm just saying a kid like you should be sleeping right now. Why don't you work during the day, with Hijikata and Saito and the rest of them?
'Cause I don't love them in this route. Nighttime was when I felt the worst for standing by and doing nothing, but I didn't think Okita would understand that. Perhaps I was only in the way when I went out with the Fury Corps.
Well, this battle is going to be a long, hard one. Sonnen thinks we can wrap it up quickly, but he's wrong.
With that, he turned and walked away, leaving me alone. But I wasn't even sure myself why I was so determined, but I did know that I was worried for Okita. But there was no way I could say that to him. Fretting about it would do me little good. I balled my hands into fists, trying to clear my mind. I just need to do my best. If I could make myself useful, then there was no reason I couldn't keep working on the night patrols. January 18th. 2 days after the Shinsengumi had been assigned to guard the magistrate office, I found myself woken suddenly from a nap. I didn't know why at first, only that the compound was especially tense. Something had happened.
First Division, Second Division, move out.
Was that Nagakura? What was going on?
Move it. You're headed for the main road.
The rumble of marching echoed across the courtyard as Nagakura and his men disappeared. What happened? I made my way through the crowd that had gathered until I found myself at the center. There, before me. Kondo? Oh, and he's still smiling. He looks like he's smiling apologetically. Sorry, I got shot. He recognized me and managed a faint smile before sagging back down. Kondo's right shoulder was overflowing with blood, dyeing his sleeves into a bright red. What happened? His wound! Oh no!
He was shot in the shoulder. Kondo, can you move your arm? No, that will be a bit difficult. That's so. Then don't force yourself, just sit still.
What happened?
Chief Kondo, we have a room prepared. Alright, thanks Yamazaki.
Kondo left the room as Yamazaki aided him. Yamazaki, is there anything I could do to help?
No, I can handle it on my own. If I need a hand, I'll call for you right away, so can you please stay here?
Okay. Kondo headed toward the room as he let Yamazaki guide him.
Shimada, what happened? He was attacked on the way back from Nijo Castle. Bastards just about shot him off his horse. If he'd fallen off, I don't know if we'd have been able to. Anyway, they got us surrounded by the time we figured out what was going on. We broke through, but it was a tough fight. If they'd aimed for the horse, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. If he had fallen from the horse, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been able to get away. Lucky for us, they're idiots.
What's going on? It's so noisy. What is this fuss about?
Oh no. Shouldn't you be sleeping? He's a fury now. He shouldn't be up in the afternoon. He just laughed.
With all this noise, not even I sleep that deep.
Okay, and we're gonna break here because it's definitely going to be a long scene once he finds out what happened to Kondo, because, you know, he's gonna rage. So yeah, let's take care of that event in the next episode tomorrow. Hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.